Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to the Valleyridge Farming Channel here. It is Tuesday, right after lunch here, around 1:30. Just want to give you a brief update of what's happening around here. So the one side where all the lambing was happening, it's finished. No more ewes over there that have left to lamb. I would say that over the last 3 or 4 days, we've had about 13 lamb on this side right here. She's actually in labor right now, just about to push one out, I think. But we've had 13 over the course of the last 3 or 4 days, and then we had a bit of a lull. I don't think yesterday we had any lamb. And now we're just starting again, it looks like. So this one here just lambed. That one was absolutely convinced that these lambs were actually hers, though she can't possibly have any recollection that they came out of her. She's still pretty certain they're hers, but you know, she's probably going to have her own very shortly. But as for this one here, she's also very close to having her lamb. If she isn't right now, let's just take a look here. We might even get a live lambing here. So it looks like we can see 2 hooves and a nose, so we got perfect presentation here. And it's just a matter of a couple minutes probably before that lamb is born. Anyways, this video, I kind of want to just show you that the realities of what sheep farming and lambing time is all about. Perhaps after you've watched our previous videos you think, man, this guy has a lot of things figured out. He's been lambing like crazy. He's had a great number born. But I just want to share with you in this video some of the problems that we're having with this lambing, because it all hasn't been rosy and easy going. We've had a lot of lambs born. Most of them were born healthy and well, but we've definitely got our issues. So that's what I'm going to show you in this video, because that's more real life, and we're not trying to hide anything on our farm as we show you things on this channel. And we want to also bring to your attention the things that we struggle with, our hardships. And perhaps some of you sheep farmers out there, if you're watching, you can either help me out and or hopefully you can learn something. So I would say on this side here, of all these ones that have lambed, which is probably about 120 to 130 ewes, we have had about 360 lambs, but of those 360, we've already lost at least 20. And that's a bit of the hard part is, you know, when you're lambing, you're kind of on a high. Things, especially when things are going pretty good, you're getting lots of lambs. It's kind of those weeks afterwards where all that attention to detail is super important. And, you know, you're trying to make sure that every one of these lambs survive. That's kind of when it gets tiring, because you kind of lost that high that you have when you're lambing, and it's kind of just the daily grind, and you just got to really discipline yourself to do those little things which make the difference. So that's what we're finding we have to do now. We have to really watch out that none of these lambs are falling behind, that we make sure they're getting onto that creep feed early, that they're bedded really well so that we keep the moisture levels down and they stay healthy, and those kind of things. One of the things that you'll notice when I show you my machine-fed lambs is we're having a lot of trouble with joint ill. I think I mentioned that in a previous video, and it's just one of the most frustrating things, because once joint ill sets in on one of their joints, they just tend to not recover unless you use very high levels of antibiotics. And so we know we definitely have a bit of an issue here, this pen being too small for the number of lambs, but that's not necessarily the case on this side. So let me give you a bit of an example. I mean, you know, we've got the odd one like that one there that's scouring a bit. It's got looseness. And let's see if we can get, here's one we actually had a broken leg and we actually splinted it, and it's actually doing quite well. That lamb had a lot of will to live, and sometimes that makes all the difference. But there are some in here which are limping because they've got sore legs. Yep. See here. Hey guys, as you can see, they take a little bit to get going, and once they're going they can really take off. But some of those first week or two, they're on this milk machine, they sometimes take a bit to get going. So that one's a little bit stiff in the back end, you can see that. There you. Okay, so here's an example. He's favoring his leg. He won't walk on it, it's probably sore. And there's something in the joint that's causing it grief. So this group here isn't too bad, but I was very discouraged this morning when I came into this group, and I probably saw 3 or 4 in here. And some of these lambs are the ones that we've spent a lot of time on. We've really invested in them just to save their life and get them off to what we thought would be a good start. And then a week later, those exact lambs get joint ill. And realistically, if it sets in too long, for too long of a time, they're not going to recover, and you almost have to euthanize some of them, or you know, their quality of life just won't be very good, and they'll live a life of suffering. So we got to be humane about it. We got to do the best we can for them, but we also got to recognize that there are times when, you know, not every lamb is going to make it, and that's just the harsh reality of farming sometimes. You know, the old saying, and every farmer knows it, the general public doesn't always recognize it, but where there's livestock, there is dead stock, and that's just the reality. And no farmer likes it. It's probably the part we hate almost the most, but it is what it is. So we're doing the best we can here. I've been in the house researching as much as I could to see what we can do about these lambs. So we're going to put some of these that have joint ill on a very strict regimen of antibiotics, just to see if we can get them to heal. So I'm looking now, and there's another one, hind leg in the air. It just doesn't want to use it. So I think there's 2 in there now that I've seen, and there's probably this guy here holding his leg up. So yeah, it's extremely discouraging. After that high of lambing, that big lambing group was over, you run into a bunch of these discouraging things. So that's just one thing that's really been bothering me and that I've been having to deal with. But there's other things, and sometimes it's pretty hard to keep a bright outlook on things in spite of how things have kind of gone up to date. But we've got another issue here, and in my last video I talked about how this lambing group, which is all first-time ewes, are about to lamb at the beginning of next week or the end of this week. March 8th is their due date that they could start lambing. And you'll notice that one back there, that one there with the green mark on its back, that one there, and there's 2 other ones. So there's about 5 ewes in here that have gotten very weak and lethargic. And if you're a sheep farmer, you probably have heard the term, but it's called pregnancy toxemia. Now, pregnancy toxemia, if you watch this one right here, it's one of them. You see how slow it's moving its back legs? It has to do with their sugar levels and them not getting enough energy for all their basically bodily functions. It's especially the case of those carrying high multiples, or ewes that are overweight, or ewes that are underweight. So, you know, maybe people think, you know, sheep farming doesn't look that difficult after watching these videos. I mean, you let them drop, you put them in lambing pens, the mother feeds them, and off they go. If there's extra ones, you just put them on the milk machine. But, you know, there is really a science to sheep farming, like there is in almost any industry. And getting the proper balance of nutrients to these ewes, of not getting the ewe too fat, which causes problems, and the ewe too skinny, which causes problems, but having them just the right body condition to meet the ewe's requirements while they're still slightly developing, and meeting the requirements of the lambs that are growing inside them. So it's very tricky. I've actually never had this much trouble before. So I don't know if these first time ewes are carrying just a lot of lambs, but this has been a big problem for us going into this next lambing group. So we've already treated them all with a vitamin B complex and propylene glucose, something like that. You'll know what I mean if you're a sheep farmer, but if you're not, it's basically a sugar solution. And you just get them to drink it. I think I gave about 100 mils to it this morning, 100 mils to it last night, and I'll give it another 100 mils tonight. And the key, of course, when you see something like this is to catch it early, because as soon as they go off feed, the problem just compounds. So that's another thing that we're dealing with. It's very discouraging to see these first time ewes going through this. It's a pretty hard thing to bring them back to a good state again, and sometimes it really doesn't happen until they've had their lambs. But this is something that definitely could be fatal. So that's another thing we're dealing with. Anyways, what do you think, Blackie? You're fine. Look at you. You got great body condition. It's nice to see all of these ewe lambs pregnant, and yet it's being overshadowed by the fact that some of them are having a hard time at the end of their pregnancy here. So we're going to keep a close watch on them. I'm going to keep treating them as much as we can, and hopefully they come around. So I just wanted to show that we definitely have a lot of difficulty still on the farm. Things are far from picture perfect here, and I just wanted to keep that real for all of you who are watching. And yeah, we're going to keep going, but sometimes it's not easy to keep on going, especially when it's being really busy and you have a time where the pressure is off a little bit, and then to really motivate yourself to keep doing what needs to be done for the good of the sheep, and ultimately also for the good of your business. So that's where we're at. Honestly, if you guys have any questions, please make sure you comment below. If you have any suggestions for me, I'm always open for that. I by no means have things figured out here. There are always things to learn. I've been in sheep for 12 years, and there's still a lot of things that I don't know how to deal with properly or prevent and all that sort of thing. So usually in, you know, the area of their health and such, it's always best to take preventative measures, like in anything, to be proactive, not reactive. So I guess that's what we're trying to do here, but it doesn't always work, right? So anyways, most of them are doing quite well. We've definitely been going through these pens on a regular basis. Any that have really been dramatically falling behind or needed regular supplement, we did take off and bring to the machine. See, there's another problem we have. Another ewe, and she seems to be prolapsing. So there's just ongoing things which continue to crop up. It's never just simple. And yeah, we just keep going, do the best we can. So I'm going to bed these down a little bit better here. I just threw the straw in there. They were kind of some tough straw pieces that didn't go through the baler very dry, so they don't break up very easy. So we're just going to go break that up a bit, bed them better, and check if any of those lambs down there need a bottle or anything like that, supplement them. And then I also have to get all those ewes out of their pens over there. So sorry guys, we missed it. I was too busy yapping on the rest of the video here, and we missed the being born, but it's up and trying to drink already. And that ewe over there, right there, she is one agitated ewe. So I just got to check this one here for some milk. So she's got really good milk. You can tell that this guy and this guy here have both had a good meal already. Nice and filled out there. She is very concerned about me. And this one just wants a lamb. She's like, give me a lamb. They're coming. Be patient. Bad as people, eh? Impatient. Alright. Looks like I need another lambing pen here. So I'm just going to throw one up here quick and get some bedding first right here. Because I know what's going to happen. If I don't put this one in a lambing pen, this one right here is going to think it's her lamb again. So we want these two to bond really well. What you see right there, it licking it off. You'll notice that almost every ewe, as soon as one of her lambs starts feeding, it sniffs their back end. And they do that right up until they get weaned pretty much. That's just the way of the mother identifying, this is my lamb and it's allowed to feed. So, see that one right there is probably doing that right now. Watch this. See that? Right away sniffs. Yep, that's my lamb. Like I said, sheep rely a lot on their sense of smell. Even more so than their sense of sight. Like, they probably don't know what their lamb looks like, but they probably know what it sounds like and what it smells like. So let's grab a lambing pen here. I'm gonna grab one of these wooden ones because the wooden ones tend to block the wind as it blows through the barn here. See that over there? That's like textbook scenario. That lamb was up within 5 minutes trying to drink. So we're just gonna try not to stress them out here as I do this. I'm just gonna move it over here a little. There we go. This is actually gonna swing like so. I'm gonna just get some baler twine to tie that up. So once we feed the ewes, we always get a good view of the lambs. Look at this crowd. So it's when you see a scenario like this where everybody wants to crowd at the bunk in order to get some corn, and you see some sitting there like that, that's when you know they're not happy about something and you should investigate. The sooner you catch something like that and deal with it, the smaller the problem is, because if you let that go on and they're not eating, you know that things aren't going to go well for them for long, and they actually could quickly die. So at least somebody's working around here, not just standing around holding the camera. So we just finished up chores. We separated these 4 ewes that have the early stages of pregnancy toxemia, and I think we've had 3 lamb today. I'll give you a quick update on those. Yeah, we still got some lambs in the aisle, but we did finish putting those bars all the way down almost to the end. I think it does help. It keeps more of them in, but it doesn't keep them all in. So we'll have to see what happens. I emptied a few of these lambing pens here, put them in a group here. So this one here just lambed, and we've got that one there lambing, and that one there, but I don't know what happened here, but somebody completely demolished this here. Hey, that's a bit of a small one here. Come on, get up. That one's up. Another pretty small one here. Get up very fast. So I guess in total we've had 3 more lambings. I don't think they're all finished yet, so we'll see where we end up with that. But for now, you know a bit what's going on and some of the things we're struggling with here. Alright guys, so we've come to the end of the video. Just gave you an update on how things are going here. Yeah, things overall are going pretty good, but there's definitely some little issues that we've had to deal with. We've had a prolapse, we've had some joint ill, pregnancy toxemia on 5 of these first time ewes. So we've got our share of issues going on, and just wanted to share that with you guys, and hopefully together we can continue to learn and you can continue to see what's happening here. So thanks so much for watching, and have a good night. See ya.